Jenny, thank you very much indeed. Bank is going to be our second map inside of this best of three. If we want to see Oregon, W7M need to come out and they need to win this map. The problem with that is the way that they played on Cafe Demo. It didn't look like they were fully checked into the server. That coupled with the fact that this is FaZe's map choice could lead you to believe that we're about to see a FaZe 2-0, which I don't think many people would have had on their bingo cards for today. But as you mentioned, Demo, FaZe have bested W7M more often than not.
Banzer. Again, pretty run of the mill. Still leave some strong operators open on Bank. I think strong operators on Bank you're looking at is Uralsa, especially for that top floor. Monty as well is another good one to have. Kaid for the basement, making sure you can bunker down there is always going to be strong. I mentioned this to Parker yesterday. I just think we need more bans. I think we do.
How many do you want?
I'll be honest, I think 2 each. 2 attacks, 2 defenders.
I think I'm not a numbers guy, as you know. And I can't exactly remember when bans came in.
2018.
Okay.
Because so it was after the Lion situation.
It was after the Lion incident, wasn't it? Yeah. And it was after that. I wasn't sure on the date. So, if we've had 6 years of 2 slot bans...
I think it was Paris Major.
But we've still had, what, nearly 2 operators a season? Until recently, of course.
Yeah.
Just the sheer numbers of it doesn't make sense, right?
Like, the bans put in mostly for the Lion situation. Since Lion's been released, we had maybe near 20 operators in the game since then.
Yeah, so
you're looking at you're looking
just
at
just by the power of
years.
numbers, it doesn't make sense that we've only still got 2. I would accept a couple more bans.
It's definitely needed. It is. Just think with how mostly defenders are. You know, Solus is another one, Fenrir is another one, which are insane. Oh, what a surprise. Both of them have been chosen. First Blood goes in favor of W7M, Ollie. Cyber's gone on the Sledge, albeit Sledge doesn't do a whole lot for a basement attack. The only thing you're missing out on is the nades for clearing away anyone who could be in red corridor or blue stairs alike. But yeah, you know about Herds above. He is stuck in not a fun position. This is a room with no return unless he wants to make his own impact hole out in through meeting. I think he'll be dead before that. He will be. KDS hunts him. That's a good room clear from FaZe Clan, but again for Herds, why on earth is he in that position?
I mean, he's picked up 1 kill, hasn't he? It's a roam on a basement. He's wasted a little bit of time. Probably not much in the grand scheme of things. Bank can take quite a long time to clear anyway. He picks up a kill for his troubles. Removed a couple of nades from Cyber, leaving only Souls with nades left alive.
Oh, because he reinforced the hatch. That's why he couldn't get out.
I think it shifts the balance too heavily in either team's favor. You'd argue that the nade loss is probably the biggest thing right now. You're not really looking toward the Sledge to do too much work on this site. You could get him to open a hatch or 2, but as we can hear, the DMR is going to do that nowadays, so no need to worry.
Easy. Don't know if I like this position for a smoke to be in, especially whenever you don't have any denial of nades or Capitao bolts alike, and KZ will be taken down, and that is a bit of an issue, Ollie, because that was really their big form of denial for stopping that diffuser go down. All they have now is a C4 from Fleepox, but that can easily be countered, Ollie. Just somebody dropping down Red Hatch to eliminate that Mira as the C4 gets prepped. In goes the Capitao to try and cover off that red corridor onto the door. They will go nade will find Souls. Diffuser needs to be planted by Handy, who he picked up a kill beforehand. Out goes the C4. Nobody was there for the denial. A second ago, KDS has picked it back up, and Viking needs to try and get the coverage. He moves over towards the hatch. Diffuser will go down under to cover the smoke. Flaypox jumps up the table. There's no cover there, and W7M get the collapse. Oh, a mistimed opportunity for FaZe where they almost had that. Look how close it was. Capitão was just on the hatch, Ollie. Too slow.
And there was a decision to be made there, wasn't there? And it was from Souls, do we drop through elevator or do we drop into gold? And it's so difficult to say which was the right play to make and which was the right position to go. Had he dropped through gold, maybe he has a chance at trying to deny that C4 a little bit more if he can get a backstab going on. But as you say, it all comes down to the cover from the hatch. You need that Capitão cover, and it just wasn't there sufficiently. Jumps into the free cam at the last second, so it was difficult to see just exactly where the Capitão had got himself up to. But a great C4, you know,
yeah.
Smokes are fantastic pieces of utility for burning time and a bit of area denial. But there's not a lot that beats a C4 for stopping a plant dead in its tracks. And that's exactly what W7M were able to do there.
I know that I said there was about 20 or so operators since Lion came out. I think it's actually more close to 30, Ollie. So we've seen 30 operators come in since the bans were implemented.
Need to run the numbers on this to know how many operators were in the game at the time of the bans being introduced.
I honestly think we need to up it. I really do.
Who do we get on the job? Who do we get on the case?
Who's famous that we could like be you know where you have like products that celebrities will endorse. Who do we know that could endorse our idea? Obviously you've got Pengu. There's one.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
See, I don't know Shaiko that well, but he always takes a picture with me at events. So maybe we can trick him into like doing a photo shoot with like, you know, him holding the sign saying have more bans.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not going to like that, though, because he gets target banned more than anyone else in the entire game.
That's true. That's true, because then that means both the ARXs will be gone from him.
Yeah, he's probably going to vote no to that, I'll be honest with you. I think we need to go the other way.
We need to go with people who just play everything. Hungry! Hungry! We'll get Hungry to endorse it. Can't ban everything from him.
I'm telling you, versatility is key.
We'll be having some Hungry action next week, Ollie. Me and yourself, LCQs of Europe, starting up. Be a good time.
Surprisingly quiet opening half of the round here. We haven't seen either Cyber or KZ get themselves into harm's way yet. They're usually the people to keep an eye on in the entry engagement. Cyber, of course, falling as first blood in round number 1. Pretty uncharacteristic considering the success he had on Cafe. They are attacking into a different site. Tricky nut to crack, they tell us. There's a lot of considerations that need to be made, and a lot of it starts with this vertical destruction. JV92 is in a fantastic position at the moment, but you know that someone's going to be there. KDS keeps, you know, having a glance, just seeing if there's anything that he can find over in that direction, but it's all a timing game. But hot drop comes in from Cyber. Souls kicks things off with a nade. Cyber eventually taken on out there by nade as kills just trade relentlessly. Souls is going to start trying to get this plant down under the watchful eye. Nade, all the information in the world, but nothing to do with it. Souls has come off the plant. He's picked himself up too. He could still go for it here. Souls, full HP. Has a bit of info. Equally, information on the side of W7M available, but what a wall down. Spray through there. He's going to see nade taken out. JV92 hung out the longest time. Just needs to play spoiler. Waste the clock. Swings the chassis. Picks it up onto Souls. Still the red pings coming in. A great attempt there from FaZe at some explosive gameplay.
What a mess. Just, my goodness. So the drop comes in from FaZe. You obviously mentioned that JV was in a great position on the blue stairs. But you also mentioned that's a very common position for defenders to be in, and FaZe read into that. FaZe had no intention of attacking the kitchen side. They didn't want to go for that quad wall at all. They went full focus in open area. They get the first 2 kills, they drop in, sure they trade kills back and forth, but they were still left in a strong man advantage. The one issue that FaZe had the entire time was there was never a defuse attempted. There was nobody looking to get that down in a safe position. Everyone was almost playing for kills, it felt like. And the issue that you then have of not getting that diffuser down is then you give the player, such as JV, who you know is off-site, a chance to get back into the bomb site. Because he knows the diffuser's implanted. I'm not against the clock per se. And if it does go down, I know I'll be close enough in the action to use that C4 I have in the back pocket. So I just feel as though FaZe, if you're going for that hatch drop, the main goal should always be get that diffuser down.
And it was a goal to a degree, it just didn't really come to any sort of realization. When the going gets tough, the Monty gets going, and Vittaking recognizing that, oh hey, it was banned the last map. It wasn't banned this map. W7M banned Okabe instead. Maybe a Monty is the answer to some of W7M's, no sorry, some of FaZe Clan's troubles here. You certainly think of Bank as a great map for a Monty, don't you, Demo? There's so many opportunities that you can have to really bully your way in and gather a bit of information, whether that's going to be through, you know, walking through main lobby. There are a lot of angles that you're susceptible to there, and that's going to keep you largely safe. AV92 just dipping himself back. He's got the option to drop down the hatch if required.
Slow and steady for FaZe. Seen them reverting back almost to how they go about, and what Hurts has just done is what I've been talking about the whole game, Ollie. Little things like that. Why is he swinging into those corridors? For absolutely no reason is beyond me. Souls and Vittaking, this duo, Ollie. Just one marching up as the human drone really comes alive. Nade has used both his impacts. There's a bit of damage to Vittaking, but not enough. Philippox has been called out, Ollie. Look at the Monty just terrorizing Nade inside of stock. Cyber getting the information that there's one more after him. JV92 almost catches the back end of the Monty. But Nade eliminated Cyber somehow, but there's KDS on the Sophia. Eliminates Nade. JV92, the information is with the whole time. Why on earth are you on shielding, Viking? Why have you done that? Look at KDS's HP. What a mishap. What a mishap from FaZe. W7M, Ollie, especially JV92, in a great position to clutch this out.
JV92 doesn't need to do anything here. Just needs to play his time. He's got so much cover to work with as well. Good decision to destroy the deployable shield there. JV going to go for the cross. Can rotate back into side potentially if he gets the super shorty out, but more interested now in just wasting that clock down. The diffuser has been recovered here. KDS maybe could try and bait a plant out, but he knows that he's only going to end one way. Eventually goes for the swing, and JV92. We always say that you should never win a clutch when you are 1 versus X against a Monty. And he's done just exactly that. For all the good that Vittaking did inside of that round, that was the biggest mistake. Unshielding at that moment after KDS and Cyber had done all of the hard work off the back of the information. It's going to feel pretty rough for FaZe.
Oh, just absolute head rattle there. I don't know why he's done it. I really don't. Especially considering his HP, Ollie. He was round about, what, the 30 HP mark or so. Makes no sense. W7M, they're more than happy to take that. A 2v4 that should never have happened has happened. So FaZe Clan, the kind of safety pick of bringing the Monty, it's failed. Where do you really go from here? Look at the lineup. What on earth? Is a Blackbeard involved there for a minute? Is a Fuse involved? This is a very aggressive lineup. You're bringing in quite a I would say a straight-to-the-point lineup where you're just going to be looking to open up vertical and play off your kills. There's not much else. There's no nades. There's no real chaos operators, I would call them. You're not looking, obviously, Ying being banned away. Apatow's not being brought, for example, which has been, displayed by FaZe beforehand. They're just looking to open up the site, push players out of said site, and try and win their engagements.
FaZe really clutching at anything at the moment to try and make something happen. They're going to be bringing Ram to rip open some floor and see if that can assist them in some way. Fleepox willing to play aggressively here. Victor King, you didn't hear that impact going off right next to you. He's outside and Cyber's inside. Cyber jumps out of the CEO window. That's not the way that it's meant to go. That should be a defender jumping out onto an attacker, not the other way around. But he's going to grab the kill regardless. An advantage here for W7M is what is quite a topsy-turvy round so far, Demo.
Incredible sometimes just looking at these two play against each other. And it's been very close, and there's been missteps from both sides, but W7M, if you weren't watching this game, just tuned in now, you'd be thinking, oh, W7M just cleaning up house. It hasn't really been like that. It's been a very weird round where both sides have been very chaotic. Neither side looking, I would say, particularly great. Ollie, JV92, that's another good kill with that UMP. It's a good chunk of damage as long as you can hit the shots, but the fire rate, miss the shots, that will cause you issues. And clean up there from KZ. And now Handy in the 1 versus 4, a minute to go. This is not script I think FaZe Clan were trying to read from. W7M have certainly filtered out some of the words, and it's ended up with FaZe the receiving end of quite the kicking here. Handy doesn't really know what he wants to do. Doesn't even have the Diffuser in hand. Easy gives himself away. Impact the skill, we know that. Diffuser right in the door of Tellers. There's an Echo Cam Ollie. Out the information, I know Handy has moved in towards lobby. I'll pull out the scanner, see if he can find the Yokai drone, but I've seen this a few times, all. It's just a matter of time, really. It's not if he'll die, it's when he's going to die.
Especially with that information bearing down on him. Well, if I was looking up at the ceiling, just flip the scanner out, you'd be able to find it nice and easily. He gets pinged by one of his teammates. But all the attention on the Yokai and none of the attention on Nade. Still some live ping information coming through there. It's always a good bait and switch that. If you've got 2 pieces of intel on one person in a clutch, you can ping on one of them. And if they destroy it, then you've still got the other thing and you cannot ping them anymore and you still know where they are. Timeout for FaZe Clan here. They've lost 4 rounds on the bounce. I mean, that was we were in an alternate universe for a moment there when Cyber's jumping out of CEO windows. That just really messed with my brain for a moment. But W7M, not much getting in their way here. Certainly not a lot getting in Nade's way. 7-2 right now. Really picking up on the action. FaZe seeing if they can stabilize. They've got a couple rounds left of this attack. All is not lost yet. They need to start picking some rounds up pretty quickly.
This is the way sometimes Brazil as the region will go, Ollie, where one team will have a lot of momentum. And if you can stop that, we do sometimes see comebacks in the other way. Certainly nothing stopping FaZe do on defense what W7M are doing to FaZe. But there is always that risk of just a whiteout. W7M, they're a hard nut to crack whenever they get warmed up and get going. Hey, could be only 3 more rounds and we're sitting there staring down Oregon. All it could happen. Be a quick one. FaZe will attack this basement. Everything they did on basement, I think, was going well right until the point of trying to get that diffuser down. Which is always the difficult point of this site, is getting that diffuser down. Whenever defenses will bring a hefty amount of utility denial, albeit I'm really surprised that W7M don't bring Goyo in for their setup for the basement, but that's because they want to have a little bit more of a roaming presence. They will try and hold in towards open area. You know, we've seen Solaces get trapped inside of Janitor the last time they defended here. But they still have the, the reliance on the trusted old smoke. And just a pocket C4 if they need to. And the pocket C4 came from a mirror last time. They sacked the mirror off completely. and instead their C4 option is going to be Mozzie. If a Mozzie who's probably going to be in the roam game survives longer, or survives long enough to get C4s off in basement, then you have to worry about FaZe's roam clearing.
Yeah, there's a big problem if that happens. I guess the mirror window can be a bit of a magnet for the utility as well. You know, you see the mirror window and you're going to try and throw a Capitao something at it, whether it's a smoke or a fire arrow. So maybe there's a method in, you know, not playing the mirror in that way. Dave did manage to hack a drone early on, so could potentially try and use a little bit of that information, but it's going to be Herds to fall. That engagement went the opposite way in round number 1. Cyber will be traded out, though, by Nade, and as we can see, blue silhouettes starting to scurry back downstairs, recognizing, yep, wasted a bit of time, got ourselves a kill. We can now hold on this first floor and still look to cause a little bit of a problem. I'm not going to give it up entirely just yet, because we know that we need to really choke FaZe out on the clock here.
Well, the collapse tries to come in from FaZe. Slow walk into the angles, but W7M are ready for them. Souls has moved in towards Tellers. Looks towards Archives, perhaps. Tellers' wall is there for him. Is he making enough movement so W7M know he's there? Handy finds Nade, a 3v3 now. It goes back and forth. Viking, is he going to try and go for the collapse alongside Souls? But as we can see, Ollie, everyone from W7M has fled the coup. They're now back on site. A minute to go. I would say this favors the defense. Never mind, not anymore. What I was going to say, as long as they can keep the smoke alive with a minute to go, that's a good start. But KZ, who has been prone to get caught out in these positions, I just don't agree with how he's playing this series so far today. Ollie, he's been a real head-scratcher for me. Now, momentum has certainly shifted in favor of FaZe. See if they can get this attack off. They have all the utility in the world, and there's not an ounce of utility in the lineup. The defense.
No, the defenders are really going to be relying on these gunfights. Handy just gives himself away like that. That is not ideal, especially when you've got someone like Felipox with the ability to use that hatch as a reverse. JV9 gets a bit of credit there and assists Felipox in taking down the player. Goes for the swing with the Bailiff. Oh dear, live ping information and confidence there for JV9 to take that engagement. This could be about to be a clean sweep on the defense for W7M. 5-0 right now, and after the way that they played Cafe, it's a welcome surprise.
Oh my goodness. FaZe, I just don't understand. What should happen there, Ollie? One player stays above on the hatch. 2 players go towards server. They move into server. They try and get the plant down in default. 1 player covers on one door. The hatch player covers the rotate. Defuse should go down. Attackers win the round. What they've went for is, quick, everyone drop the hatch and flood into the other bomb site. That's essentially what they've done. Instead of just playing it smart, playing it simple, they've went reckless. They've almost tried to play for the kill rather than playing the plant. I don't know if they knew about Fleetlock flanking. I don't know if that was a worry for them. But if there is the player on the hatch, he should be ready for a player flanking. And it just, he wins that 1v1. And even if he does lose that 1v1 and he does die, at that stage, Diffuser gets planted, then you're on a 2v2 with Diffuser down. Attackers are going to be, having everything going for them. They can fall back into server, fall deep enough in, go above if they want to, try and hold square. So many options for them. But FaZe just, their late game choices this game have been very poor. You look back even that open area where they didn't go for the plant. They have not been prioritizing that Diffuser enough. That has been the issue for me.
We were listening to the analysts when they were doing the desk, and I don't know why, but Ginny asked the question, CDAPS, do you think it's going to be a 7-0? I think I zoned into the conversation a little bit late, but I don't know why Ginny said that, because it's almost as if she's spoken this into existence. There's actually there's a real chance this could be a 7-0 right now, and that of course would send us into Oregon. What a grenade! How JP92 has only taken 1 or 2 damage from that, who knows? Unfortunate there for Cyber. His information was good, and nade throw equally so, threading it through the railings there on the stair, but Ain't good enough. Only tickled JV92. Pre-fire there through the wall. Cyber, it's a couple of points of damage in onto Felipox, but that gives the game away, and he starts to receive shots of his own. He's still got a bit of info to work from here, but Handy's fallen, and KDS has found himself down.
This is a side to forget if you're FaZe Clan. They're going to be on the back end of a 6-0 beating against W7M, a 1v5 that Souls has to clutch. There's no shot. He's going to be having this in his locker. Yes, Impact the skill on Tenade as W7M, Ollie, they're ferocious, but FaZe, you just have to question them. You should never be losing 6 rounds in a row. For a team of the caliber that is FaZe Clan, it's a shame. The decision-making, it's just been building up to this. In this last round, W7M have just said, hey, they're weak. Let's just try and finish them off here and now and get that flawless half. FaZe are going to need to do some big decision-making if they want to use their timeout or not going into the next half. And I don't even know if you even bother going for the timeout. I suppose you could use it, but really, what is that going to solve? I don't see a way back for FaZe. I feel as though that door's been shut since probably round number 3.
It really isn't looking good for FaZe at all. Whether the side swap will help them or not, we'll find out shortly, but this was just a massacre. You look at the confidence that W7M are moving with here. Catching FaZe out at every conceivable turn. 6 rounds on the bounce. Going into their attacking side on map point to level up the series 1 map apiece. Some soul searching to do now for FaZe. They've got to hit that mental reset and see if they can do the same back to W7M, but W7M, even if they don't play great Siege demo, which we don't know if they will or not yet, we haven't seen them attack a bank today, they only need to get lucky once. And they've got that map point. So FaZe have given themselves a real tough time of things here.
Just don't know what they're going to do. Sure, they get base, start things off. Lineup looks fine. W7M in their lineup, again, pretty default, pretty standard. Both sides favoring Capitao for this execute. If those Kapkan traps might be the game changer, Ollie. Kill here or there. Opens things up, but again, I still don't see it.
I think it's an old trick in an old book, the old Kapkan. You would expect a team like W7M are going to be good enough in their drone clear to be searching out that utility, especially with the Legion in there as well. There's already goo mines to be looking out for you. Only need to take an extra second or so to drone a doorway. KZ keeping up the tradition of that opening death on the attack. Not having the best game, considering that W7M are tearing away with things. It's all on the back of JV92 and Nade so far. KZ double negative right now, 3 and 6. Give him a drone to watch and let him enable some of the other players. Felipox has got some very valuable info here. C4 going to get sent out, but Cyber should still be on drone. Lion Scan isn't going to phase him. He knows that he needs to get himself back down into the site.
W7M have been able to clear away the roamers, and everyone is going to be on site now. The only person you would look at is probably Souls over towards server on that smoke. Don't know what it is, but both these sides playing their smoke in server rather than maybe having them in sight. Sure, I get it if you're holding blue stairs aggressively. I've seen that a few times from some of the smoke things. That shotgun at those distances are very potent. But whenever they're not even actively holding blue stairs and they're sat in server, especially whenever neither side has had any interest in taking any form of utility denial, you're just asking to be naded from this position. You really are. Good news is, they were able to take out the nades from KZ. There is still a fire arrow with his name on it if W7M need to go that far to eliminate the smoke. Now he moves in towards blue stairs. This is a better position. This is where I want to see my smokes. On blue, looking to get some kills, looking to hold them back as best they can. They will fire him off, so he's stuck now. It should just be an easy pre-fire onto the staircase. You know he can't move anywhere else. Souls isn't even using the shock, and he's got the SMG in hand. Nade has dropped in now. Urd has been downed. Souls wins that engagement. W7M sloppy on the execute. Only a matter of time before I think Nade's going to get taken out. Souls tearing everyone apart. Classic smoke position finally coming through for them. Yellow pings from the Echo Cam. Good information being fed through. Nade, how long can he stay alive? Philippox is in the middle of sight. See the kill happen on the Cyber, but Souls is still alive. Nade's just going to ignore him, go straight into the side, try and get the plant down, but he's nowhere to go. There's the finish off for FaZe. They get at least a round. It's not the full-on flawless victory for W7M, but still, Ollie, it's only the beginning, not the end just yet.
How many attackers does it take to deal with the smoke on blue?
Oh, at least 5.
Sounds like the start of a bad joke, doesn't it?
I'm telling you.
Dear me. Souls getting away with murder there. At least 3 times on the blue stairs. It's a start for FaZe. Probably going to feel quite good, especially given that that's the first round they've had since Cafe. It's been a long old time coming, but they can't rest on their laurels. They've got to do it again and again and again. They've got to take this to an overtime if they want to come away with a point here, or at least be in with a shot, because W7M, they're allowed to have a couple of slower rounds here and there. They lost that opening pick. I think KZ, as we've sort of touched on already a couple of times there, well, maybe not having the greatest series so far, and a lot of the heavy lifting is being done by other members of the lineup. But it only takes him to have a good round once, a good entry, get himself into the action, and it's going to be all over. So, as we move now, start seeing these cap cans getting placed out. A lot of the players on the side of W7M, when we were looking at their point of views, they were giving a lot of care to those doorways. So I would be surprised to see the cap cans really gain anything here, but it is a C4 and a decent weapon that you get to bring as well. Philippox going to be getting the value out of the shock drone as he looks to clear away some utility on that top floor. No mute jammer there, slowing him down. Instead, they've been played on the site.
See the formation of the Gravicams being sent through, picking up bits of utility as they come. Herds, but KZ don't have the best of times, but Ivers Herds 2 and 6 as it stands. See if he can get involved a bit more and get some kills going. One thing I always make the joke sometimes, Ollie, is whenever the support players are the ones doing the most damage, you kind of have to look at everyone else in the team, and I think that's kind of the case for FaZe. Souls is 9 and 6, and everyone else is very below him.
It's always going to be a bit of a problem, especially when 3 opening picks come in here for W7M. Cyber picks himself up 1, tries to stem the flow, but doesn't realize there's a player on the main stairs just behind him. A double for Philippox. Souls get a big round last time. He needs an equally bigger round here and now. Starts things off with a kill onto Herds. He's struggling to transition through that rotate. It's just not as clean as it needs to be there. Takes the drone out. He's still got a couple of Fenry gadgets here that are going to assist him. W7M, they have time on their side. 1 minute and 5 seconds. A player looking for the drop at a plant. KZ going to pick up that final kill. He might not have had the best series. He might not have had the greatest entries, but he's there when it matters. W7M, they storm through the bank. 7 rounds to 1 here against FaZe. We're going to see all 3 maps demo.
We are indeed. Oregon is where we head to next. Oh my goodness, W7M, they quickly rewrit the wrongs that they had done on Cafe.